Guys, it's Mrs. Finner. I'm gonna move myself up here in the corner. So this is your module. I just want to quickly go over some things. Pardon me. I know that this worksheet was published and some students were working ahead and they were working on this worksheet. This worksheet, we actually transferred the questions from it to be a Canvas assignment. So instead of completing this title, author, genre worksheet, you're actually going to complete, it says a quiz, but it's not a quiz. It's an assignment in a quiz format. It says independent work, tag, and evidence quiz. So you're going to click that, and I'm going to walk you through it. Before I walk you through it, I have some notes that I just want to review with you. So what is title, author, genre? Like, what does it mean? When will we use it, etc.? So these are the three elements you're going to include in an introductory statement when you're writing a constructed response. So what a constructed response is just basically you as a reader are making a response to something you've read. So in this case, it will be Rikki Tikki Tavi. So this is just a great way for you to set up to your audience, which will be me, but later on as you start writing, it can be other people. This is just a great way to set up what your paper will be about and giving some context. So the first thing we want to include again is the title. So this should be written out completely and underlined. And you want to capitalize each proper noun or primary letter. So for instance, if your title is The Legend of Humphrey Jones, the only non-capitalized word would be of, and then everything else would be capitalized. You want to make sure that the names of poems, essays, or newspaper articles are in quotation marks, but also short stories. So I would put Rikki Tikki Tavi in quotation marks because it is considered a short story. It's not a standalone novel. So that is title. Next, you want to include in your introductory statement or your tag statement the author of whatever you're reading, whether it be a poem, short story, etc. So this is pretty straightforward. You want to make sure you are writing the author's first and last name in your tag statement. Later on in your paper, if you do refer back to the author, you can refer back to them by last name. But in your tag statement, it should be first and last. And then lastly, you're going to mention genre. So a genre is what type of work is it? So there's several genres that you might see, could be like a biography, autobiography, essay, short story, whatever it may be, fiction, nonfiction. But you do want to mention that to your reader again, just to provide some context. So let's quickly look at a good and a bad example. So here is an example that is not a model example of tag. Overcoming the odds, triumphs, and challenges, The Legend of Humphrey Jones, John Doe, a book fitting the autobiography genre. So yes, that student did include the three elements of tag, but the writing does not flow. It's just really choppy. It just seems like they kind of just jumbled words together. So let's listen to the example or the model. The Legend of Humphrey Jones, John Doe's autobiography, provides a substantial amount of information that depicts the reality of life as a Midwestern laborer in the early 1800s. So again, the tag statement or the title, author, genre in our good example does not disrupt the flow of the important details. And when they list each element, it makes sense. So they're incorporating them together and it flows a lot better. So here is what you will be doing. If you did this already on the worksheet, I would urge you to transfer that information into this Canvas assignment because they're the same questions. It's just going to be a lot easier to type in Canvas versus trying to upload it as a PDF. So I'm going to quickly take you through this quiz. Okay, if I return back, perfect. Okay, so again, we want to punctuate properly and then include all the elements that flow well, like I had previously stated. And all that information is also relayed here. So here's another example. Let's say you're given the author E.B. White and you know the title of the novel is Charlotte's Web, and it is a fictional novel. It's a fictional story. So I will write, E.B. White is the author of heartwarming novel Charlotte's Web. You could also include a short summary of the plot. You don't have to, especially with these examples, but if you wanted to do a quick Google search and find some information out to really make it more interesting, feel free to do that too. So you could also write, in the story Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, a pig and spider become friends. So you could have it that way too. Again, it has all the elements of tag. It flows well. It's a great introduction to whatever constructed response you'd be writing. So now what you need to do today is to make sure that you write a tag sentence for the following. It will give you the title of the text, it will give you the author, and it will give you the genre of the text. And you are to write, let's see, I think it's 5. Nope. You are to write, it looks like there's 9. So you have to fill in those 9 title, author, genre statements. The last one, you're going to have to find evidence from the story for Rikki Tikki Tavi. So for question 9, it states, introduce and cite evidence from the text that backs up this claim or this statement. In the story Rikki Tikki Tavi, Darcy and his wife experienced tragedy. Now remember, Darcy is the Tailor bird. So in order to do this, you need to find a part of the story that proves the claim to be true. Copy the evidence exactly as you found it in the story. So you can copy and paste from your textbook. Don't make it a black quote, as we call it. You don't want to copy a whole paragraph. You want to make it about 6 to 15 words. That's a pretty standard length for a quote. Please make sure you put it in quotation marks, and you want the author's last name in parentheses around the quotation. So you could say, here, Rudyard Kipling wrote Rikki Tikki Tavi, so then you can put Kipling after you quote the text. So play around with that. We'll do a lot more with citation later on, but I hope this was a helpful video. I hope this answers your questions. Please make sure you're not working ahead. I will make these videos so that I can make your lives a little bit easier and that I can actually try to teach you, especially if you're a remote learner. So again, I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, let me know. Have a great weekend, guys.